There's been a lot of trade speculation surrounding Mark Andrews for the past couple of months, and we've heard from everybody but him about it, but all up until today. Because Mark Andrews, he broke his silence and he addressed everything. And we're going to hear what he had to say. Some people feel like he probably shouldn't have said nothing in the first place if he was going to say this, but we'll go over all of that. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn them notifications on, and leave a like on the video so you can stay up to date with everything going down with our Baltimore Ravens. Also, this Thursday, it's Tuesday. It's 2 days away from our NFL draft party. Shout out to James and Glenn from 410 Sports Talk. We will all be in the building at Union Hill Kitchen and Craft Bar. Y'all make sure y'all come through. You watching this video right now, you are invited. You're invited to our draft party this Thursday. The link to the address is down below in the description. I'll put it in the pinned comment as well, so you know exactly where it's at, so you can come through this Thursday. Be there. Make sure. Now, Mark Andrews, he's somebody that he sounds pretty confident and sure that he'll be a Baltimore Raven moving forward. But anyway, let's get to this article. It came from Jamison Hensley. It says, in talking to reporters for the first time this offseason, tight end Mark Andrews says he believes he will remain with the Baltimore Ravens this season and will receive his shot at redemption. So Mark Andrews' comeback story. Let's continue. It says, during a promotional tour for Dexcom U, an NIL program exclusively for college athletes with diabetes, Andrews addressed the trade speculation surrounding him heading into Thursday's NFL draft, as well as the critical drop two-point conversion in the 27-25 AFC divisional playoff loss to the Buffalo Bills. So we got to rehash some stuff. He said, Andrews' future has become a hot topic in Baltimore after Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta was non-committal when asked if the three-time Pro Bowl player will remain with the team, but Andrews indicated that he has not had conversations with the Ravens about a potential move. Andrews said the following, at the end of the day, I think Eric DeCosta said it perfectly. He's in the business of keeping great players, and it's a business at the end of the day. You can't be surprised by anything, but I'm a Raven. I'm a Raven. Shout out to that boy Mark Andrews. He said, I'm a Raven. And he is a Raven, at least for now. But Mark Andrews, from that right there, that statement, he laid it out. Like, hey, Eric DeCosta said it. He's in the business of keeping great players. So Mark Andrews is letting me know, like, hey, I'm a great player. I'm like that. I'm one of them guys. I could ball out, as we all know that he can. But then he said it's a business at the end of the day, and you can't be surprised by anything. So Mark Andrews also laying it out like, hey, I know that anything could happen. I know anything could go down. I know that I could be a Raven this year. I also know that I may not be a Raven this year. Anything's possible. He said at last week's pre-draft news conference, DeCosta said the Ravens value Andrews, but added there's always a lot of unpredictability with the draft. You know what? With that comment, with him saying that, I am still a little bit worried. I do not like the idea of it. I hate the idea of it, as a matter of fact. But I am still worried that he could possibly trade another tight end. Oh, boy. Anyway, he says, I never know what's going to happen. And I would never want to say this or that, but I can tell you this. Mark Andrews is a warrior. He played his butt off for us. That was Eric DeCosta's comments from last week. Now, also, says, I know the Ravens. This is from Mark Andrews now. He said, I know the Ravens and my relationship is incredibly strong, and I trust in Eric DeCosta and everybody there over at the Ravens. So Mark Andrews, he putting it back on them. He said, oh, yeah, no, I'm about to big up y'all. I'm about to really give y'all praise. I'm going to give y'all credit. I'm going to give y'all a nice shout out. So if y'all end up trading me, hey, this is all y'all's doing. I ain't saying I want this. I want to stay here. I want to be a Baltimore Raven. So anyway, little business move there. And PR too. He said, and there's nothing on my end really to share. For me, it's just been working hard this offseason and trying to get in the best shape of my life, trying to have the best season of my life coming up and winning a Super Bowl. So, hey, that's all people want to hear, right? You're working out, you're taking care of yourself, getting ready for this upcoming season, and trying to win a chip. Yeah. So Mark Andrews, he's saying all the right things all up until later. Now, the part of the article says, Andrews' latest pursuit of the Super Bowl ended in January, where he dropped a two-point conversion that would have tied the score in the playoff game against the Buffalo with 1:33 left. On the previous play, a 24-yard touchdown catch by tight end Isaiah Likely. Andrews collided with Likely and fell face first into the snowy turf. That's something that I remember during the game, right after the game, even weeks after the game. I had no clue that happened. I had just heard about that maybe like a month ago. I said, what? They're over there playing bumper cars in the middle of the game. Anyway, it's an accident. I know accidents happen, and especially it's snowy. But continuing, it says, when Andrews went to the huddle, here goes the part right here, for the two-point conversion, he noticed that his gloves, they were soaked. They're wet. Not even wet, soaked. Because wet and soaked is two completely different things. Watch it now. Keep it clean. Says, I'm thinking, do I take it off? Do I not? It was so fast and so quick that it just happened. Mandrews said, at the end of the day, I still should have caught the ball. I still should have made that play. Sometimes it can be where you can almost share too much information on something. And it can almost make the situation look worse than what it is. I think you should just left that part out, in my opinion. And I'm all about being honest. I respect that. I love that. I admire that. I cherish that. That's how it should be. But it kind of makes it sound like an excuse a little bit. I did see somebody today on Twitter. They were like, oh, if Mark Andrews' gloves were soaked and Isaiah's, they must be waterproof. Because he ain't say nothing like that. And he was obviously catching everything in that playoff game. But it is what it is. Then I seen some other people say, oh, he said his gloves were soaked. Oh, get this guy off my team. I said, oh, gosh. So, who knows what's going to go down, though, man? Who knows? This could be the last couple of days that Mark Andrews is a Baltimore Raven. I know a lot of people anticipate him being moved. So we'll see. We'll see. But he did say at the end of this quote, but I still should have made that play. That's it. Straight up. He still should have made that play. Gloves soaked or not, barehanded or not, whether you had that fumble on the previous drive or not, the play was yours to make. Perfect pass, perfect delivery. Wasn't no defender by you. Wasn't no defender making contact with you. Lamar Jackson put it in the perfect spot. So all you had to do was do your signature catch. And y'all know the Mark Andrews signature catch, where he catches it and he falls to the ground without nobody touching him. He done that a lot. But that's all he had to do. I even remember before, like, right after the game, and people would say, oh, Lamar threw a bad ball. I said, What? Get out of here, man. But, because if it was a bad ball, we just say it was a bad ball. It's a bad throw by Lamar, but it wasn't. Perfect play design, perfectly thrown pass, offensive line was on. Everything was set up perfectly. That's why it hurt that much more, because everything was perfect. Everything was lined up perfect for the execution. Boom. That's all you got to do. Catch it. And I know it's easier said than done. He's in the heat of the moment. He's in that cold, snowy game. He's an NFL player, not us. So we could sit in our chairs. Oh, yeah, Mark Andrews, you should have caught that ball. Why didn't you catch that pass? Why'd you drop it? Da-da-da. It's so easy for us to do that. We're not the professionals. They are. And whether you're professional or not, accidents happen. Mistakes happen. Stuff happens. And that's just life. It's unfortunate, but again, like Mark Andrews said, it is what it is. And now, on to this year. Now we reached my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you want to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send your question directly on Patreon. Let's get straight into it. First question came from my guy Matthew. He said, respect to EDC. Draft edition. He said, how's it going, man? Hope you and the fam are doing well. Buckle up because you are in for a long one, so sorry in advance. Okay, I wonder if this one is going to take us out to the end of the video. We'll see. He said, I think we got to be honest with ourselves and start putting more respect on Eric DeCosta's name. He said, everyone loves to hype up GMs like Brad Holmes, Jason Litt, Les Snead, and Howie Roseman. And sure, they've had their moments, but let's be real. Most of those guys have had the luxury of drafting early in the first round, sometimes with multiple picks. Lions getting top 10 picks year after year. The Eagles stacking Georgia defenders with back-to-back top 15 selections. The Rams, they sold off the first for a Super Bowl and just finally started drafting again. Can't be too mad at that. Okay, I'm glad you said that. 'Cause I'm about to say, like, hey, if that's what it would take to get to the Super Bowl, trade a couple first round. Bye. See ya. Love you, but hey, Super Bowl, love that even more. Anyway, he said, meanwhile, Eric DeCosta and the Ravens have been out here picking late in the first round almost every single year and still landing studs. Hollywood Brown, Patrick Queen, Adafe Away, Rashad Bateman when healthy, Zay Flowers, all taken in the 20s or after, all productive. And when we finally had a chance to draft earlier, we got Kyle Hamilton, a generational safety who's already the best in the league. That's not even up for debate anymore. Oh, I love that part. That's been my favorite part of your question so far. He said Kyle Hamilton, best safety in the league, super duper Kyle. It ain't even up for debate anymore. Love it. Continuing, he said some of these other top GMs, and he put top GMs in quotations, some of these other top GMs swing and miss, even with premium picks. Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson, anyone? Meanwhile, the Ravens quietly cooking the back half of every round, stay competitive every year, and build through the draft without tanking or needing splashy rebuilds. There's a rumor floating that the Eagles are thinking about trading A.J. Brown just to move up for a shot at Abdul Carter. That's wild. A.J. Brown is a sure thing, a proven wide receiver, one who helped them win a Super Bowl. Abdul Carter might be great, but we have no idea yet. If the Ravens even consider something like that, fans will be lighting up EDC over social media. Look, regardless of what Eric DeCosta and the Baltimore Ravens do, there's always going to be some fans that agree, and there's always going to be some fans that disagree. So there will be some that agree with a move that he makes and be like, oh, yeah, Eric DeCosta, go for it. That was great. That was amazing. There will be some fans that will disagree and say they would light him up. So regardless of what he does, good or bad, he's always going to get lit up by social media, because that's social media. It's never going to be universal happiness for everybody. It's not, because that's just how people are. People are always going to look for something to be mad at. And I ain't saying, blindly agree with everything that your favorite team does, that the GM of your favorite team does. No, I ain't saying that at all, because there's some stuff like, you see, hold up now, buddy. But there's some people that look at every single situation and they choose, you know what? I'm going to be mad about that. I'm going to be upset about that. I'm going to hate on that. And it's like, come on. Anyway, he said, but that's the double standard. Because when we traded Hollywood Brown, a move that was actually smart and respectful, fans still tore EDC up for it. Oh, I hated that trade. I really did. I did not like it at all. But y'all know I got love for Hollywood, man. Hollywood, good people, man. But I did not like that trade at all. Did not. But apparently Hollywood had been asking out for years, and EDC said took the opportunity. It was like, all right, you go play with your old college quarterback. Go play with Kyler Murray. We ain't gonna send you to Baker Mayfield. We're gonna send you to Kyler Murray. Okay, go ahead, do your thing. Hey, that was that. He said, let's be real. Hollywood was a solid receiver, big play guy. Chemistry with Lamar did a lot for us, but EDC managed to flip him for a first-round pick, which is a win in today's market. Yeah, that was crazy. Like, to be able to trade a former first-round pick from 2019, to be able to, he was a first-round pick in 2019. And 3 years later, you traded him and got a first-round pick back? That's unheard of, man. That is crazy. Crazy. So, yeah. And especially, you traded him. This was before Todd Monken. So, you traded Hollywood Brown, who was in this Baltimore Ravens offense under Greg Roman. So, you know how receivers looked in that offense. But you got a first-round pick for Hollywood. EDC, boy, you got that one, boy. You got it, man. Anyway, he said that pick turned into Tyler Linderbaum, who's been a cornerstone on the offensive line ever since. He said, and I get it. We didn't grab a receiver that same draft to replace Hollywood, but let's not forget that same night the Titans traded away A.J. Brown to Philly, ironically, and tried to replace him with Treylon Burks. That hasn't worked out. So even if we had reached for a replacement wide receiver that year, there's no guarantee it would have worked either. Now, look, I agree. EDC can be too attached to these picks sometimes. Not every single one of them needs to be used. Sometimes you got to move off a couple and go up and get that difference maker, especially when the window is open like it is right now. It's okay to be aggressive. We've got a strong core. We don't need 9 to 10 rookies every year fighting for snaps. We need the guys who can take us over the top. I like it. He said, but even with that critique, let's not act like he hasn't hit on a lot of these picks. He's consistently drafting late in the first and still landing impact. We're always in the mix, always competing. We haven't hit that Super Bowl yet. But we're not rebuilding. We're not tanking. And we've got a GM who knows how to build a roster the right way, even if we wish he'd take more shots sometimes. That statement is a perfect description of Eric DeCosta, in my opinion. That's a perfect description of Eric DeCosta in the Baltimore Ravens situation right here, right now. The statement, he said, we've got a GM who knows how to build a roster the right way, even if we wish he'd take more shots sometimes. We always talk about how we would love for the Baltimore Ravens to be that much more aggressive in certain situations, that much more risky in different types of environments. But there's no denying that the rosters that they've been built, especially over the past couple of years, that they've been some pretty good rosters. They really have been. They really have been. And even right now, we ain't even get to the draft yet. And you look at the Baltimore Ravens right here, right now, they can go out there and run it. I mean, I know Harbaugh said that a couple of weeks ago. He feel like they could go out and put the team on the field right now. And in my opinion, they could. They really could. Now, we will, of course, need some more depth and need some starters here. But overall, like, you got a pretty good team right here, right now. And you still got the draft. And free agency really never stops. The sexiest part of it, that's already done. But free agency never stops. It continues all season long because you're always plugging holes on your roster. So, something to think about. Anyway, he said, you don't have to agree with every move EDC makes, but let's be real. He's one of the best in the game, and the results back it up. Well, that part. Yes and no. He said EDC definitely has an argument to be a top 5 GM in this league. I Yeah, I'll say there's an argument. But the results, good rosters, yes, but they haven't finished. Now, with the Baltimore Ravens not having finished, is it even Eric DeCosta's fault? In my opinion, no. Nope. Was it Eric DeCosta's fault that the Ravens came up short last season? Nope. What about the season before? Nope. It wasn't. They didn't come up short due to roster failure. They didn't come up short due to the way that the team was built. They came up short due to execution, lack of execution. There's some questionable coaching as well the year before last. And it's a mix of those things. It was not the roster, in my opinion. So anyway, continuing. He said, now, how they handle certain contracts, I got thoughts that sometimes that even goes beyond the GM, but that's a story for another time. He said, keep doing an amazing job, man. And like EDC, when it comes to trading away his draft picks, I'm out. Hey, I love this, Matthew. I love you, Matthew. I appreciate you, Matthew. And this was a real fun one. Speaking of EDC, next question came from my guy, Steph'on. He said, Furious Flock Future. He said, what's up, my guy, Clean? I pray that beautiful Florida sun is smiling on you and the fam. Thanks for always keeping it a buck with Flock Nation. I appreciate you, my friend. He said, well, here's my last plea for EDC and the Flock staff before Thursday night. I'm not just a spectator, as I've noted before. I'm a coach, a former trainer, and player with over 40 years experience in this game called football. Okay, so you got yourself a resume right there. He said, also, I've got approximately 11 of my former players who are ranked 2 to 4 stars in high school with multiple D1 offers. So I know a little something. Oh yeah, you really do. Okay, now. He said, I said that to say this. Please listen, EDC. I've watched a lot of film on these guys. Here we go. Round 1, BC defensive end as a rocker. Okay, that'd be a good one. Nobody be mad at that at all. Nobody be mad at that. Productive, college, and that's if you're going to draft a pass rusher, you're going to draft a D, you're going to draft an edge guy, needs to be somebody who's productive. No projects. That's him right there. He got the bill for it. He's ready right here, right now. NFL ready. Boom, let's go. He said round 2, Texas safety, Makuba. Oh, so he addressing them needs and wants too, because we want both. Anyway, he said round 3, tackle, Ursary. Round 3, Mizzou offensive lineman, Membu. Round 4, wide receiver, Shepard. I won't say anymore. Just turn on the tape. Once again, please listen, EDC. This is what he said. He said, please listen, EDC. Eric, I know you don't listen to me. I know you don't. But you listen to them. He's saying, please listen. He also said, Super Bowl or bust. These beasts really play like Ravens. Flock Nation, stand up until Thursday. # Blackbird Bully Ball. Next question came from my guy Camren. He said, hey, Ingravenvids, my mind is still on the draft. Well, yeah, it gotta be because it's literally right around the corner. But he said, and I think I just found the best BPA. Oh, so the best player available. So you okay? He said, and his name is Nick Emenwari. Oh, okay. There's been a lot of talk about Malachi Starks, a whole lot. But Nick Emenwari, I feel like the talk around him has sort of died down a little bit. Anyway, continuing, he said he's a free safety, 6'3", and had one of the best combines, is very good in run support, which I think the Ravens need desperately. And I think him and Super Duper Kyle in the secondary will be a dynamic duo. And not to mention, if things don't work out with Ardarius Washington's whole situation, we still have Nick Emenwari, who can still come in there and help us out. By the way, I hope you and the fam are doing good. I appreciate that a lot, Camren. That could be an option. That's definitely an option. As far as run support, I mean, you can never have enough of it, especially a safety that you can move around, a safety that you can put in the box. And I know Nick Emenwari is a freak. He's a freak. His combine is crazy. But I know, again, I remember before, like weeks ago, people, Nick Emenwari, then people be like, Starks, then Starks, then Nick Emenwari. But recently, it's been all Starks. I ain't really been hearing much about Nick Emenwari at all. So, is he dropping? Again, we'll see in a couple days. What would be nice, what would be crazy if the Ravens, whoever they get in the first round, they got that player. I still expect it to be Derek Carr. We'll see. But anyway, whoever they get in the first round, they got that player. But then if they can get one of those 2 safeties in the second round, I feel like that could be a steal. Now, I think they would have to come up to get one of them. But if they could, hey, you never know. But there are obviously other teams besides the Baltimore Ravens that need safety. But like you talked about, you said that as far as it being a sort of a backup plan if things don't work out with Ardarius Washington in the long run, which honestly I don't expect them to. I think Ardarius Washington going to end up moving on. And that's just simply because they're going to pay Kyle Hamilton. And I expect them to draft a safety early in this draft, whether in the first 2 rounds. So he'll either have a 5-year contract or 4 years with a 5th year option, or that 4-year contract. But I expect him to be financially invested into another safety, and a younger safety. Darius Washington obviously ain't old, but I just expect them to just have their safety of the future drafted in the first 2 rounds this year.